Now we are honored to welcome to our campus our commencement speaker, Professor Laura Caldwell. Professor Caldwell is a distinguished scholar in residence at Loyola University Chicago School of Law, where she founded a group called Life After Innocence. Now that's a project that aids innocent people who have been wrongfully convicted. You know, we all hear about it when they get out of jail, when they get released from prison, but then they have to restart their lives. And her group helps them to begin their lives again after exoneration. She is also the author of 13 novels and one nonfiction book, Long Way Home, which details the true story of Jovan Mosley. Now, Mr. Mosley was working his way out of a tough Chicago neighborhood and had been accepted to a lesser Ohio school, not like Defiance, but he got into Ohio State. And when he was forced to confess to a murder that he did not commit, he spent nearly 6 years in a Cook County holding cell without a trial. Along with criminal defense attorney Catherine O'Daniel, Ms. Caldwell fought to prove Mr. Mosley's innocence, which she did, and won his exoneration. She earned her BA degree from the University of Iowa and her JD degree from Loyola University Chicago. So please join me in welcoming today's speaker, Professor Laura Caldwell, to Defiance College.
Well, I'm not going to wait till the end to say this. I'm just going to start with it. Congratulations, Defiance College, class of 2015. Let's hear it. You guys are a dynamic group. I can see as you're moving through campus and saying hi to your family and your professors. And I want all of us to thank them too, especially your administration, your faculty. I can tell you as a professor, it's wonderful work, but we worry about you and we hope for you and we dream for you. So can we please give a thanks to your family, your faculty, and your wonderful administration. Well, usually at this time of the year, graduations, we talk a lot about dreams. We talk a lot about finding your passion. We tell you to follow your dreams. We tell you to just do something you love and it won't be work. Those things are all true, but I'd like to make a couple of points about dreams. First of all, it is perfectly okay at any point in your life to not necessarily find yourself with a big dream or intensely passionate about something. We cycle in and out of these things generally through our lives. I remember when I was at University of Iowa, I was a cheerleader. I really was into football. I didn't have a particular passion in college. I think my dream was to graduate from college. That was the dream, right? And after college, I kind of looked around and thought, what am I doing now? And again, no big sort of passion motivating me. So what you have to do though is and this is whether you've got an intense passion or not, you've got to be open and stay open. You got to keep your eyes open. What's going on in the world? I looked around and I saw a couple of family members who were lawyers and they seemed to enjoy it. So I thought, well, maybe that's my thing. So again, my big dream then was to graduate from law school. I actually got nervous during school. I looked around and there were so many people developing preferences. They wanted to work in real estate because they could work with their friend who was a realtor, or they wanted to be a prosecutor or sue on behalf of people who were injured. And I again felt like I didn't have a huge goal. And I felt sort of bad about that. But again, what I've learned is that at different points of your life, you are more intensely into something. Sometimes you do have a dream, and sometimes you just don't, and that's fine. I got out of school and started representing physicians who were sued. Just kind of fell into one job. And I was still really wishing I had a passion or I had sort of a big, huge dream. And I was just trying to stay open and be open in case I could potentially find it. And I was noticing something about myself in like the year after law school. Namely, I was noticing that I felt this need, this deep sort of desire to be more creative. I actually was thinking a lot about college, and you know when you get assigned to be in a group project and you're like, oh, a group project. But I was a couple years out and I was missing those, that where you get to brainstorm with people who are totally different than yourself and create something, even if it's just a talk at class. You get to actually start something, finish something, and create it. I thought about taking up painting, didn't feel like I had even the basic skills, and heard about a novel writing class. I had never written anything other than a school paper or a journal entry. But I thought, well, I'll give it a shot. Again, I was trying to stay open and to be open. I took this novel writing class for 3 years, and somewhere along the line, it dawned on me, hey, I have a passion. I love this. I love writing fiction. And all of a sudden it occurred to me, I have a dream. I want to publish a book. That's my dream. None of this happened in any quick succession. I wrote for 10 years. Sending a lot of things out and hoping to get published, and wasn't. But I had found something I was passionate about, and it was fantastic. Now, those of you who are sitting here and you are super passionate about a few things, or you know exactly what you want to do, I know you'll agree with me when I say to fulfill anything, once we find our passion and our dreams, it really requires discipline and work, right? At the beginning of every week, once I had figured out that I loved writing, I would sit down on Sunday and say, all right, I'd look at how many depositions I had to take, when do I have to be in court, and I'd say to myself, how many hours do I have to put toward writing this week? I would divide it up, I'd call somebody and make a goal, and it took me about 3 or 4 years, but I finished a book. And as I stand here today before you, I do have 15 books out. But I'll also tell you, oh, thanks. Very kind of you. Even when we have dreams and passions, my second sort of point about dreams is they will evolve, they will change, sometimes they'll disappear, and that's okay as well. I stopped practicing law and became a full-time writer, and I didn't think I would find a passion or any other kind of dream or anything else, and I was just fine about it. I was writing novels, teaching a little bit of law school on the side. The way I came upon this case, Jovan Mosley, he was a really good kid from a not great neighborhood, 19 years old, never been arrested before, never in trouble with the law, and as President Gordon said, planning on going to Ohio State, obviously misguided. He saw a fight. He was not in a fight, but he saw it and he walked away. And because a man died in the fight, he got picked up. And he ended up, after 3 days in an interrogation room, signing a statement that said he had thrown 2 punches in that fight. He wanted to go home. He knew he was innocent, so he thought, if I can just get out of here, I'll just prove that I'm innocent. Well, he was charged with murder because 2 punches is murder if someone dies. He was actually charged with death penalty murder, and he was put in a holding cell. So here he is, 19, planning to go to college, and by the time I am writing a book 6 years later, he's still in there without a trial. I found out about him because I had a research question. I was writing a book called The Rome Affair. It's about a girlfriend's trip to Italy that leads to blackmail and murder. And I had the Chicago police officers have this character in an interrogation room, and they're trying to get her to say that she committed a murder, when in fact she did not. And I called a lawyer I knew and I said, hey, does this ever happen? Does somebody ever falsely confess to a crime, especially a big crime like murder? And I'll never forget, she said, oh, honey, it happens all the time. All the time. She said, I would give you 2 hours in a room with the Chicago Police Department, and they would have you saying that your mother killed Kennedy. You would put her on the grassy knoll. And as a further example, she said, you want to hear about my latest case? It's the first case I've ever done for free. I found a kid, after signing something that he didn't do, He's in jail still in a holding cell, and it's been 6 years. I couldn't get over it. I had never done criminal law. I certainly didn't have a passion for it, did not have a dream to work in it. But dreams change and dreams evolve if you stay open and be open. I ended up helping her prep for the trial. I ended up getting pulled into the trial and tried the case with her. And Jovan was exonerated. As a small note, he, like yourself, graduated with a bachelor's degree. Now he's married and has 2 kids. But he was innocent, and upon getting out, he had nothing. His family had sold or given away all of his belongings. He had been in for cell phones and for the internet. He literally didn't know what Google was, didn't get it, couldn't conceptualize it. He was like a newly minted human being that was starting from nothing. The first thing I noticed about my passion changing as I tried to help out Jovan start over was that, number one, actually, I wanted to write novels still, but I wanted to write about this kid and what he had gone through in our criminal justice system that I'd never been interested in before. But it led to my book with Simon & Schuster called Long Way Home. And the second really main important thing it led to was this passion for helping innocent people start over. Again, this is nothing that anyone in my family did. This is nothing I ever dreamed of. But dreams do change and dreams do evolve if you stay open and you are open. So I came out with this book and I thought, let's give some of the proceeds to some organization who helps innocent people who get out. Because you hear about someone who DNA evidence showed after 25 years it wasn't them, and in fact it showed who it was. I had no idea until I had started working with Jovan that that's the situation with the innocent, is that the innocent get nothing upon release. So someone who'd done the same 20 years but had confessed to the crime, served the same 20 years as we call them exonerees because they've been exonerated, that person who served 20 years will get more from the state than the innocent person. So, and it turned out there were no organizations that were doing this. So I started Life After Innocence. And I spent this weekend, I flew from Tampa to be here with you guys. I was at the Innocence Conference. So this last 3 days, I was with about 600 people, 150 of whom were innocent and released from jail. You can imagine, this is an intense group. And I went around and I said, I'm talking to this really cool group from Defiance College. What's your best advice on starting over? Because like you guys, you're different than when you came in this campus. You are a different person, just like they are different when they had gone into jail and now they're starting over. But unlike them, they literally come out, usually you guys, with nothing. Remember that you have so much. You have the support of this university. You can continue to come back to it. You've had the friends that you've met. You've had the people who supported you, family or otherwise, while you did this journey. That won't go away. You have that. And if you stay open and be open, the dreams you have will flourish, they will probably evolve and change, or they will grow. And I can also feel already this energy from you guys, like I felt from the exonerees, which was just a fire in the belly to get going with whatever it is. And I see you guys shining. And I'm telling you, I see over and over people start from nothing when they come out. They're innocent and they have nothing, and they craft the most joyous and interesting lives. And that's what I see for you guys. So congratulations, class of 2015. I'm really proud and excited to be here with you. Thank you. Good luck.